The title music for this game is really somber. Anyway, we are back in Warhammer Rogue Trader. We've just beaten back another assault. The officer's deck is under attack by an unknown enemy, so Arch-Militant Mort has left to clear the way to the lift leading to the upper decks. The officer has not returned yet, so it is time to find out the cause of the delay. And off we go. Somewhere. We know not where. Do I need to look around or anything? I guess not. Man, this game really has a severe green and orange color palette. It's that... I don't know, I feel like there's probably a name for this green and orange palette. It feels very 80s. I don't know where I'm supposed to go.
Options open.
Is this the right way? Deck Enforcer? Report. Nope. It's not saying anything. There's some doors. Oh, the enemy's shooting down our allies. Who's this rushing up to me? Oh, it's Conrad Voiter. Conrad Voiter lets out a sigh of relief upon seeing you. Thank Providence you are alive and well. Oh, always on time, eh, Conrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it. That's Mort, retorting. Conrad pointedly looks away from the Arch-Militant to you. Mort, pull yourself together. The Arch-Militant looks back at you. What, did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away. Mort pulls his Vox from his belt and hurriedly reports on the situation. I immediately don't trust Mort. He's behind the whole thing, I bet. He's got death right in his name. Here come some others. Oh, it's Theodora coming up behind us. Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The VoxNet is silent. The VoxNet being the technology used to communicate over short distances or to record sound, in case anyone here didn't know that. The Vox Master is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my Arch-Militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report! Conrad Voiter. I have not yet received word from the Engineerium regarding any Geller field failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only Vox casts from the lower bays are one-way, heretical gibberish. Voitvir pauses. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny. Maybe Conrad himself is behind it. Who would attempt a mutiny here in the warp? A mutiny against the Emperor is anointed. Execute the traitors, every last one of them. But wait, we must provide immediate assistance to those still on the middle decks. Perhaps then we might stop this wave from spreading. Or, if this is indeed a severe case of warp madness, then the situation is dire. You don't know the half of it. Mort is in the middle of checking his arsenal. There's only one thing worse than the warp addling the brains of our crew, and that's the warp itself crawling all over our decks. Ugh, I shouldn't even think about it. It's bad luck. Your orders, Lord Captain? First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the navigator's sanctum are secure, and I have the means to do both things at once. Her expression changes as her eyes flash ominously. Wait a second, is she a heretic? Theodora looks at Voitvir. Edeldrad? Where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons. Conrad Voitvir pipes up. I tried to locate him, but the last known thing about his movements is that he arrived on Transitional Deck 18. Wait, he sounds suspicious now. Blast it! Master of Whispers, find Edeldrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Tlas and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-Militant with me. I must go to my study, and it appears that we might encounter heretics along the way. Darius? Theodora glances at you thoughtfully. I await your orders, Lady Theodora. If I may, Lord Captain. Vortvir's voice is soft and cautious. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Edeldrad back, I could use some support. After all, I am not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the house as the esteemed Arch-Militant, and taking into consideration Edeldrad's psycho powers. And everyone runs off. Did I click the button twice? No. Well, then it's settled. Darius, find Edeldrad and bring him here, in whatever state you find him. This elevator... The Theodora points at the massive doors. This elevator leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand? In whatever state... I cannot... in whatever state, what does that mean exactly? Conrad coughs. We are in the warp. Considering the attack, there could be a disruption in the Gela field and the infiltration of malevolent forces onto the decks. Psychers can react. Well, they can react to such things in most unpredictable ways. Enough! Master of Whispers, you must not allow my heir to turn into a mindless mutant and to perish under Enforcer fire. Do whatever it takes to bring Edeldrad back to me. All right. I cannot... Well, I shall do everything in my power, Lady Theodora, Lord Captain, apparently my elder heir apparent, my... What do you call the person who you are the heir of? The Lord Captain, I guess. I shall do everything in my power. Theodora hisses in fury. Not everything in your power. You will do as I say. I'll have your heads if you fail. Is that clear? Then move out. Mort, come. Well, it's you and me again, Master of Whispers. Are you behind all of this? Conrad Voitvir gives you a nod. Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk, and you do not even have proper gear. Well, I could make do, or I could propose a proposition. Since I am the more important person here, you can go in the front to shield me from potential threats. Yes, I like this proposition. Yeah, since I am the more important person here, Mr. Voitvir, you can go in front to shield me from potential threats. He smiles faintly. Certainly. Lady Theodora would be devastated if she were to lose one of her precious heirs. but that is no longer relevant. Oh, really? Are you behind all of this? With a pop and a sharp crackle, something hits you in the abdomen, and you are consumed by unbearable, gut-wrenching pain. It's him! It's him! He's behind the whole thing, the Master of Whispers. He's the one! I promised you a special destiny, Darius, and it is time to fulfill it. This is starting out just like Pathfinder Kingmaker, where there's a betrayer in the very first scene. I'm suddenly wondering if this is the kind of game where you can make the wrong dialogue choice and die instantly. This is a great example, by the way, of that green and orange color palette I was talking about. It's so 80s looking, like 80s CRT. And here it is again. Oh, don't kick me.
Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warrant Chamber. And for that, I need him breathing. Oh, you are back with us, I see. Delightful.
Voidfear looks down at you. What? Voidfear, you two-faced scum! You're the one behind this mayhem. I knew it.
How perceptive of you. I'll help you with the next insight. I need you here for your blood. You have the option to share it voluntarily, or I will squeeze it out of you myself.
My blood? You're a vampire too?
We are in the anteroom of the Warren Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power. The sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel.
What? I mean... Well, this is an interesting choice. We can choose to join him and take the warrant from Theodora together. After all, I do have a crime lord background, and this whole thing was thrust upon me suddenly. Why should I have any alliance with Theodora, as I've come to understand is how it's pronounced? I'm certainly interested in sparing my own life. Why are you doing this?
Why? Because I am following an order. What is happening on this ship right now has been in the making for a very long time. All that remains is to obtain what my masters sent me for. The Warrant of Trade.
Your masters, So what is the problem? Is it that you're inbred? Is your blood too thin for the Sentinel? Is that the problem?
On the contrary, the Warp's blessing has raised me too much above your kind, Fon Valencius. The Sentinel refused to submit to me. But you can help. After all, isn't that what family is for?
What sorry, pathetic excuse do you even have for your apostasy, you sordid, wretched piece of Grox shit?
Wretched? What do you know about wretchedness? Theodora's cur. Are you hoping to buy a grain of her indulgence with your blind loyalty? Oh, I know this delusion. But thank the gods it no longer has power over me. Humanity can rot. I no longer serve mortal kind.
Something, either the tone of your venomous words, throws Conrad off a moment as hateful fury blazes from beneath the mask of a cold professional. Well, I guess he's not gonna let me, join him now.
Once my work is done, I'll make that pompous wench von Valencia's watch as I sacrifice her entire dynasty and commit their fate to the gods. And you will be the instrument by which I will accomplish this righteous act.
Voigtveer hesitates for a second and then produces a strange weapon, a blade without a handle that shimmers blue in the light. Hey, what's that? The blade flashes in the dim light and drops of blood appear on your palm. For a brief moment you feel nauseous. Your head is spinning, and then quiet whispers begin to flood your mind. More and more more and more soyless voices is what I said. More and more sourceless voices echo each other, drowning out your own thoughts, replacing them with a singular urge. Go to the gate. Go to the gate. Go to the gate. Skill tests. Success or failure affects how the dialogue will develop. I feel like I've seen that tooltip before. Once your character starts traveling with allies, the party member with the highest score, etc., etc. I'm gonna fight the voice in my head. Get out, I'm not your puppet. I dealt with way worse than this in my crime lord days on my planet of doom that I came from. The voices in your head giggle and mock your desperate outcry. You feel this intruding influence forcing you onto your feet and making you take a step toward the gates looming in the center of the chamber. Well, I feel like I have little choice in this matter. In the gateway arch, you see a cogitator with a human likeness built into the front panel. A cogitator is a type of digital computer in the Imperium of Man, in case you didn't know that. As you approach, the torso twitches slightly. This is a servitor, a mindless cybernetic drone created from a fusion of human flesh and robotic technology used to carry out simple manual tasks. An obedient automaton created from a lobotomized human being. The Sentinel turns its head to you, one of its eye sockets lighting up with two ember-like irises. I'm gonna use my tech skill to examine the device. And I succeeded. You carefully inspect the design of the gate cogitator. What immediately catches your eye is the strange alloy that was used as material for the machine's components, some of which are unfamiliar to you. You suspect this might be some kind of archaeotech relic, an incredibly rare and powerful piece of technology from humanity's ancient past. Archaeotech. I've been playing Baldur's Gate for like the last 6 months, and I miss the dice roll when you do a check. I miss the dice roll coming up on the screen. That was kind of a cool feature. It got kind of annoying after a while because it takes a long time, but it's kind of cool. As long as you can like shortcut it, like click a button and skip past it really fast, I think the dice roll on the screen is pretty cool. The servitor on the gates begins to move. With the screeching and groaning of metal, it leans forward, closer to you. Its lower jaw opens with a drawn-out shriek, much wider than the jaw of a living human could. The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp, metallic fangs that glint in the dim light. The vid screen to the right of you lights up, showing strings of mysterious symbols on a green background. A whisper runs through your consciousness, insisting, demanding sacrifice. The voices that filled your head after Voigtveer wounded you with his blade did not go away. On the contrary, their source coiled itself into a tight knot somewhere in the depths of your mind. I'm going to examine the Sentinel. The servitor looks noticeably different from the ones you are used to. Its skin covering is stitched together with copper thread, and it has metal hinges in place of standard joints. Oh, that's it up there, I assume. It seems that the creators of the Sentinel did everything to ensure that the service life of this unit would be much longer than that of ordinary automatons. I'm gonna look back. Maybe someone is out there that can save me. Maybe Lady Theodora will rush in to rescue me at the last minute.
Did you forget something? I suggest you hurry.
Is there anything here I can use as a weapon? You look around in hopes of finding at least something that could work as a weapon. Your search is in vain. The chamber anteroom is completely empty and in perfect working condition. Nary a broken panel or a protruding piece of rebar in sight. Well, I suppose I have no choice. And what loyalty do I have for Theodora anyway? She apparently, I assume, kidnapped me from whatever my former life was, and suddenly I'm her heir for no apparent reason. What do I owe her? The Sentinel's jaws clamp around your hand, puncturing your skin and sinking into your flesh. Ow! A few dark drops fall into the servitor's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servo motors start up and the pumps stir into motion. The vid screen of the cogitator flickers. Well, I guess I really am related to her. Several long minutes pass. The Sentinel's jaws remain closed. And you are beginning to feel sick. Let go of my hand. Perhaps if you were to lean against the gate, you could catch your breath. Maybe even close your eyes and pretend none of this has ever...
High levels of caustic humors. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance?
You do not understand where this quiet voice is coming from, crackling like static. Is it the Sentinel? The cogitator? Is it a figment of your weary mind? Whichever it is, you can clearly hear every word. Who is this? Who's talking to me right now?
Genetic code identified. Child of House von Valancius. Do you require assistance?
This time you realize that it's coming from the two speakers built into the Sentinel's shoulders. You hear a displeased grunt in your mind, as if the lurking entity has sensed something that is not to its liking. Yes, I do require assistance now that you mention it. Pain shoots through your head and subsides just as quickly. It would seem the entity coiled in your consciousness does not have the ability to do you any real harm.
Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol.
Well, awesome. It's not warp madness after all. Whoa! Artillery is suddenly shooting flamethrowers.
There is still another way!
And the door opens anyway. Well, that was exciting. Rogue trader. Okay, the warrant chamber has opened its doors for the Dynasty heir. It is time to make sure the sacred warrant of trade is safe. Oh, I did not discover the whereabouts of Edelthrad the heir. Well, I didn't even have a chance to. I walked right into... I guess I walked the wrong direction. Whoops. I walked right into the wrong thing. Well, that certainly vaporized those would-be saboteurs. Thanks, Servitor. I feel like... I think I want to break these videos into sections. So, I just did the Find the Arch-Militant section. And, I'm going to take a break here, and then I'll check the warrant chamber.